Hello lovely people, and welcome to this week's video. So this class is the second half of two classes about self-love, and we're going to begin today by giving ourselves a lovely massage. So you can start with the hands and the fingers, so you can just begin by, it doesn't matter which one you do, but just starting to massage the thumb. We're not going to spend too long on each place. Then going to the forefinger, giving it a little bit of a massage, moving on to the next finger and the next one, ring finger, and then the little finger, and then just moving on to the back of the hand. So just use your thumb to massage the back of the hand, and then turning over, doing the palm of the hand, and then we can move on to the wrist. So just, it doesn't matter whichever way you like to, just give yourself some love with your other hand. And then we're going to start working our way up the forearm, up to the elbow, and just moving it around, giving yourself a squeeze in the top of that arm. You know, you'll know exactly what pressure you like, up into the shoulder. Lovely massage there, underneath the armpit. So we've done the whole of that arm and the shoulder, so we'll swap to the other one. So thumb first, giving yourself a really good little rub there. Then the forefinger, then the middle finger, beautiful, ring finger, and then the little finger. And then we can just use the thumb to massage the back of the hand a little bit before we turn over, doing the same thing on the palm of the hand, moving up to the wrist. If you want to spend longer on this, you can always just pause the video, spend a bit more time. I mean, it's really lovely. I don't know why I don't do it more often. And then the elbow, and then up to the upper arm here. Lovely, the bicep getting a really good squeeze, and then up into the shoulder. Make sure you go right over to the back of the shoulder and the front and under the armpit. Beautiful. So then from here I'm going to take you straight down to your toes. So bring one foot out, and we can use both hands now, of course, to massage the toes a little bit, just going over them and in between them and underneath them, and then onto the top of the foot with the thumbs, and we can even do the bottom of the foot at the same time with the fingers, and then underneath the heel. I don't know if you can see it on your screen, but it doesn't really matter. Then doing the ankle, and then moving up the lower leg, really giving yourself a lovely bit of massage. So you might say this isn't yoga. Well, everything's yoga, but certainly self-love is definitely yoga. So up onto that knee, and then we're going to come onto the top of the leg. Oh, I'm tickling myself. Beautiful, right up to the groin here, and the back of the thigh, the fatty bit here. And then we can swap over, so just changing legs, whichever position you're in, it doesn't really matter. So massaging your toes, in between the toes, underneath, on top, and then going to the top of the foot and the sole of the foot with the fingers, maybe over onto the heel, and then the ankle, and then moving up the lower leg, giving that big muscles at the back of the lower leg there, really good prod. And then onto, this is my bad knees, I have to be a little bit more gentle, really making sure that you listen to your body and what it needs. And then up into the big fatty bit of the leg at the top there, all the way over to the back of the thigh there. And then we can bring the legs back in wherever they are, and I'm going to invite you to kind of kneel up here and just give your bum a bit of a massage. So maybe give yourself a bit of a pat on the bottom, bit of a massage there, and then all the way just into the small of your back, wherever you can wherever you can reach. And I'm going all the way up to like halfway up my back, and then coming round to the sides of the rib cage there, just doing whatever you can do, coming down to the belly, giving your belly a good rub, and then into the middle of the body there. And then we can go, if you're a woman, you can just do whatever you do around here, and then up onto here, the top of the chest here, the collarbones, up onto the neck, the back of the neck, the sides of the neck, the front of the neck, just being careful, listening to what you need. Up onto the ears, give your earlobes and the tops of your ears a bit of a massage. Cheeks, and the chin and the jaw, and up onto the nose, around the lips, just doing whatever you need to do. I've got my glasses on, so I'm going to put my hands underneath my glasses to get my eyes a little bit, and then the front of the forehead here, over the head, just giving your head a little bit of a massage all over. Beautiful. Lovely. And then just taking note of where you've been on your body, and maybe just asking yourself, is there anywhere else that might need a bit of something? Before we just come down, just put the hands gently on the body. Close the eyes or lower the gaze. Come into a little quiet seat, and for a moment we can just be here and enjoy the effects of our practice. Beautiful. Well done. So this is something that you could do for yourself every day if you wanted, and it would be an amazing gift to give yourself a little bit of self-love, like in that way. But we're going to move on and start doing some head movement. So from here I'm going to invite you just to take the gaze down, so you're tucking the chin down onto the chest, and then inhaling, raising the gaze up to the sky. Don't crank the head back, but just looking up to the ceiling, and then exhaling down again. And inhaling up the other way. Beautiful. So then we're going to bring the head to centre, and we're going to start doing some big circles. So just taking the head round, being careful, listening, because you don't want to be cricking the neck, but just going round, gentle but big circles all the way. Say 3 times one way. And then once you get back round to the front, we can go back round the other way the same amount of times. Listening to your body, seeing what you hear in the neck, and then bringing the head back up to a straight position. And I'm going to invite you to bring the arms, interlace the fingers, and bring the hands behind the head, so the head is sort of cradled in my hands here. And I'm just going to very gently, just for a short time, I'm going to bring the elbows forward to kind of cradle my head a bit more, and then I'm going to drop my chin, and I'm just going to allow the weight of my arms and hands on the head. Just see if I can release the top of the back here. Breathing, seeing if you can really let go of those muscles in the back of the neck and the top of the back. And then coming back up, what we're going to do is we're going to take the hands behind us. So you can take them so they're on the ground, or you can just take them so they're behind you, like this. And we're in this position, and we're going to raise up the chest. So looking upwards, pushing the chest forward, we're opening the heart, offering ourselves self-love, but also opening to the love of all. Beautiful, wonderful. And then from here, we're going to do a little bit of something again with the head. So we're going to take one hand, it doesn't really matter which one you do, and take that hand all the way over the top of the head until you can feel the opposite ear. And from here, we're going to drop the head down to one side and take the other arm sort of out at whatever that is, 45 degrees or something. And again, so we're just seeing if we can just let the weight of that hand just gently opening up the side of the neck there. Beautiful. So then we're going to keep the head in the same position. Bring this hand down and lift the other one up, and we're going to go into a side bend. So taking the hand onto the floor and trying to keep this arm back, and it can help to look up under the armpit. And at the same time, we are doing this beautiful side bend. And then coming back up to the centre, and we're going to bring this arm, the one that was on top a minute ago, take it onto the opposite ear, and we're going to do that on the other side. So on every exhale, just see if you can drop a bit deeper into the opening of this side of the neck, taking the other arm out about 45 degrees again. Few breaths here, just really allowing that neck to open, making sure you don't do anything that hurts. Beautiful. So then we're going to take this arm down, lift the other one up, and come over again into this beautiful side bend, looking up under the armpit. It turns it into a little twist, so make sure you're still side bending. And then coming back up. So from here, we're just going to do some big movements with the arms. So bringing the arms forward and then all the way back, just opening them as wide as you can. So couple backwards, and then we can go forward. So same thing, but bringing the arms all the way up, trying to keep the arms straight throughout the whole journey of this. Lovely. So I'm going to invite you now to come and join me in all fours on the mat. And remember, if you need something for your knees, you can get a blanket or a soft block or something to pad your knees. Beautiful. So we're in all fours here, tops of the feet down, sun ray fingers really spread wide, looking between the thumbs. Neutral spine at the moment. And then we're going to inhale, looking forward, taking the spine to the floor. And exhale, taking the spine to the ceiling, looking between the knees. So see if you can think about feeding some self-love into each of the vertebrae as they move. Breathing self-love into your body. Beautiful. Once more each way. And then from here, we're going to come to a neutral spine, tuck the toes, still sun ray fingers, and if you want to, raising up into a dog. If this feels too much, you can just stay down in the cat, or you could put the elbows down on the ground and do it that way if it's too hard on the wrists. And from here, we're going to try and keep the knees slightly bent, but we're going to try and drop the heels down into the floor, dropping the shoulders down towards the knees, trying to make sure we've got the weight moving through all parts of the hands and fingers. Couple more breaths here. And then we're going to gently drop down, take the knees a little bit wider than the hips, big toes together, and
bottom down onto the heels, coming into the child. You can have the hands under the head if it's helpful, and we can take some big sighs out here. So from here, I'm going to invite you to come up to the toe squat. So toes tucked under, bringing your bottom back either. If that's too difficult, you can lift up into high kneeling and just take some weight back into the toes until it gets easier. This is such a good pose and so important for the feet. Beautiful. So we'll all come up to high kneeling now. Sorry if my head's chopped off, but it's okay. We're going to take the hands to the back of the body here. Some people can do that, but I don't like it myself, so I have my fingers pointing down. But I'm trying to move my elbows towards each other. This opens the front of the chest. And so we're going to see if we can push the chest, keeping the chin down or certainly not up. And we're seeing if we can push the chest and the body forward. So this is a modified camel, coming back here. Beautiful. Okay, so before we go into the next pose, I'm going to invite you to find a block or a book or something that you can use here. So if you haven't got something, pause the video, go and get it, and then come back. So we're going to step forward into a lunge, so it doesn't really matter which foot you take forward, one or the other. Just put your block down by your side. So lunging forward, opening the front rather of the back leg. Then we're going to just slightly move out of it. Take your hand and put it over onto this block. And we're going to raise the other arm up and we're going to take a side bend. So we're using the block as a sort of leaning thing here. Taking a side bend away from that, from this leg, but making sure that you're nice and open. And then you can come up, bring the block over to the other side. I can't do it here because I haven't got any room, so I'm just going to hold on to my thing here. But so taking your block over to the other side and raising the other arm up and bending over this way. Lovely. So we'll come back and do that on the other side. Just take a little rest here, and then we'll come up with the other foot coming forward. So have your block next to you, and we'll do the side bend away from the leg, from the outstretched leg up front first. Remembering to breathe. Then we're going to bring the block and put it over on the other side. And again, raising the opposite arm up and then coming over into the side bend this way. Feel how different it feels each side. Lovely. And then we'll just come back very briefly through the toe squat again. So tucking the toes, sitting back onto the toes for a moment. Lovely. So we're going to come forward into the lunge again now, but we're going to do a little twist. So we're going to step forward again. We don't need any blocks now. And taking the hands either side of that foot. So we're in the dragon here. Opposite hand to foot down. And we're going to come into this twist like we did last week. So you can either stay there or you can tuck the toes and lift that back knee up. And then we're going to swap over. So bring that hand down and we're going to twist the other way. It's much harder this way. If you want to lift the other knee up, you can. Otherwise, dropping down. Beautiful. And then we're going to move back into the half split. So keeping the toes down to begin with and then rolling on the heel, opening the back of that hamstring there. Lovely. And then let's just come and have a little rest down. So resting down into the child for a moment. And then we're going to come and do it on the other side. So other foot forward. Both hands either side of that foot. If you want to tuck the back toes, this can be quite good for giving you a bit more steadiness. Opposite hand down, rotating into that twisty lunge, lifting the back knee if you want to, but make sure it's okay for your body. And then dropping down and doing it the other way, and only lifting that back leg if it feels okay for you. And then coming down, and again have a little rest here. And while you're having a little rest, I'm going to invite you to move the blanket or pad or whatever you've got, if you've got one, underneath the knees. So from this place here, we're going to come forward and we're going to drop down into the Sphinx like we did last week. So hands in front of the elbows, elbows underneath the shoulders here, looking down between the thumbs, and then we can just raise up the chin. And then we can do a little, keeping the chin nice and not too raised, but raised enough. We're going to look to one side. Then bring the chin all the way back round and going over to the other way. Coming back to centre, then we're going to drop the head down and bring the hands back behind, so they're underneath the shoulders here. And then from here, toes to feet together here, tops of the feet down, and we're going to raise up, little weight in the hands as you can, lifting up into the cobra and exhaling down, trying to keep the tops of the feet down, inhaling up and exhaling down. We'll do that once more, inhaling up and exhaling down. And then from here, we're going to tuck the toes, coming up through all fours. We're just going to come back up into the dog and have a moment of stillness here. So widening the fingers, letting the heels drop down to the ground, still having a micro bend in the knees, shoulders dropping down towards the knees, beautiful. And then we can drop down wide legs, exhaling. So I'm going to invite you to come up and find a comfortable seat to join me in sitting to work with some breathing. Okay, so here we are, ready for our breathing. So make sure you're going to be comfortable for a few minutes. I'm not going to do it all with you, but I'm just going to go through it with you, and then I'm going to invite you to turn the video off, practice it for 5 or 10 minutes, and then come back on again. So we're just doing the full yogic breath, which we've worked with quite a lot on here. So I'm going to go through the places with you again, and then we will work with the mudras as well, which I will go through. So the full yogic breath. So we're going to begin by breathing in and taking the breath all the way right down into the diaphragm so that the belly moves. So this should be that it's only the belly breath here, only the belly breath. So there shouldn't be any movement going on in the top of the chest here. So doing that a couple of times. Then we're going to change. You can put your hands onto your ribs if this helps. And from here, when we breathe in, we're breathing into the centre of the lungs and the ribs. So as you breathe in, feeling the whole of the rib cage expanding outwards, frontwards and backwards a few times.
And then we'll stop that for a moment. We're going to do bringing the breath right up into the top of the lungs, so you can just put your fingers on the collarbones if this is helpful. Shallow, short breath, just the top of the lungs. Beautiful. So you can bring your hands down if you've been using them, and we're going to just incorporate all of those 3 parts. So just start working with that. And as you exhale, just let the breath move out in whichever way it wants to. So you're breathing in and out through the nose. By the time you've reached right up into the collarbones, your lungs will be fully extended, but trying to keep the shoulders relaxed, everything relaxed, even though you're taking this really deep, full breath. Beautiful. So then on the exhale, as you are exhaling, I'm going to invite you, so you can be doing this while I'm talking, I'm going to invite you to begin to engage the Mula Bandha, so the muscles of the pelvic floor, as you exhale. And see if you can breathe out really slowly, and just see if you can hold those muscles for the whole of the exhale. And then as you inhale again, full yogic breath, just let go of that bandha. As you exhale, engaging the muscles of the Mula Bandha. Beautiful. So practice that for a few rounds. And if you want to, you can actually take a retention at the end of the exhale. So this is once you've exhaled, you're holding the muscles of the Mula Bandha, the pelvic floor. And what you could do is you can maybe count to 3 or 4 or 5 once your lungs are empty. If only if that feels comfortable to you, to keep holding the bandha and doing a retention on the exhale, and then come back and just repeat. Beautiful. Okay, so we're going to come now and do some counter poses. So just come and lie down on your back and bring your knees up into the chest, take the head down, have a little rock from side to side. And then I'm going to invite you to take the heels behind the bottom. Raise the arms up on an inhale, make sure that you've got space. Exhale down, take an inhale here, and then as you exhale, drop the lower spine to the ground and inhale, lifting the hips, raising the arms up into an extended bridge pose. Exhale down, inhaling here. Exhale, dropping the lower spine, and then inhale, curling up the tailbone. Wonderful. And then coming back down, and when you get there, I'm going to invite you to take the arms out at shoulder height, drop the legs down to one side, looking over the other arm. Inhaling up to the middle, taking the legs down the other way, looking over the other arm. Beautiful. And then come back up and just do a little bit of whatever you want to do. Maybe do a bit of seaweed, arms and legs. And then we're going to take the legs out long along the mat. Hands down by the side with the palms facing up. And we're going to come into Shavasana for a minute or so. But you please stay as long as you like. Don't just stop this because I do. This is the most important pose of the whole practice. Just letting everything go. Thank you so much for joining me today, and if you want to support me, you can subscribe to my channel, give me a comment, give me a thumbs up, and if you want to support me even more by making a donation, you can contact me via the email at the end of the video. Thank you very much. Namaste.